What is going on, my fellow zombie slayers? It is Nelly B here, and welcome back to a brand new Call of Duty Zombies video. In this series, we do what literally everybody else does and take two different weapons and compare them for things like ammo, damage, availability, reload time, all of that stuff to see which one can come out on top. And the subjects for today's video are going to be the Thundergun versus the Windstaff. Guys, I had fun making yesterday's video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. That is the Wunderwaffe DG2 versus the Lightning Staff. And I don't know, I'm kind of having fun making these staff videos. I might do one for the Fire Staff, might do one for the Ice Staff, who knows. But anyways, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So starting off with the Thundergun was first introduced into Kino der Toten and was later introduced into Ascension, both remakes of Nocturne Toten on Black Ops 1 and on Black Ops 3, and finally in Revelations. Now there is a distinction between the Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3 Thunderguns, which I will get into in a bit, but right now let's just go over the stats. So for the Thundergun, same with the Wunderwaffe, it does infinite damage, which is pretty easy to tell. It never really drops off, obviously, because it does infinite damage, but it does have a range limit. It is able to hit some zombies, but if you do see it knock some back, those zombies didn't take any damage whatsoever. They didn't take fall damage, they didn't take knockback damage, they didn't take anything. You're gonna have to hit those guys with everything that you normally do on that round. The Thundergun starts off with 2 in the clip drum thingy and 12 in reserves. The reload time is only 3 seconds, but I will have to say that the Black Ops 1 is slightly quicker, and this is something that comes up often with the Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 3 comparison. The Black Ops 1 Thundergun is ever so slightly quicker than the Black Ops 3 one. This is also found in the fire rate. Now both are semi-automatic, obviously, you can only shoot one at a time, holding on the trigger does absolutely nothing, but in BO3 it is a bit delayed. You can click the trigger multiple times, but there is a set time limit that the Thundergun will not shoot. Also, when you're taking it out or running with it, it will take a little bit more time than Black Ops 1 to shoot. Black Ops 1, it usually is right away, but on Black Ops 3, it's kind of weird. You have to wait for it to register, and I feel like this is their way of trying to nerf the Thundergun in Black Ops 3, because in Black Ops 3, it's pretty freaking overpowered. If you can get this on any map, get it. It is your go-to wonder weapon, and I know on Revelations you can get the Apothicon Servant out of the box as well, and you can have these at the same time, which is just like crazy. I would say why, but I'm not going to question it because it is actually pretty awesome. It does make going for higher rounds a bit easier and a bit more relaxing, which is what I kind of think they were going for. Sure, Revelations is crazy and whatnot, but getting to high rounds, killing zombies is as fun as it ever has been. But anyways, moving on, the last and final difference that I want to note for both of these weapons, the Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3 version, is that the Black Ops 3 version actually gives you drops, which is amazing. Black Ops 1, this didn't do this, which I kind of preferred it in that one. Thing as in Black Ops 3, we have gobblegums that literally give us max ammos whenever we want, so it's kind of pointless in Black Ops 3. I mean, not really. It allows us to not have to use our gobbleguns, but I think this feature would be much more useful in Black Ops 1, seeing as Black Ops 1 weapons aren't really the most ammo-packed weapons in zombies. They're actually kind of bad when it comes to ammo, and the Thundergun is really no exception. Sure, and if you're very conservative with this weapon, you can get to really any round because it does do infinite damage, but those max ammos aren't always guaranteed when you need them, and in Black Ops 3 they are, and even more so with this being able to drop drops. So when you pack a punch thing, it becomes the Zeus cannon. The damage is not increased obviously, but the range is. And again, here, if you see a zombie just being knocked back, you aren't actually doing any damage to that zombie, it's just getting a sort of after effect from the shot, which is kind of weird. It's kind of cool, but still it really does nothing. But I do have to mention that the Ascension monkeys do actually take damage when they aren't being killed. It does take 2 shots from, I believe, the Zeus cannon to kill 1 monkey on Ascension, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. One of the most, I wouldn't say overpowered weapons, but powerful weapons in zombies can't kill one of the smallest enemies, which is kind of funny if you think about it. The ammo is increased to 4 in the drum thingy and 24 in reserves, and there is no reload time decrease. So moving on to the wind staff. The wind staff, just like every other staff, does 1,000 base damage. That's if their zombie is right in front of you or you have a whole horde right in front of you, it does 1,000 damage, but that damage will drop off to about 15. And the range on this weapon I found isn't really too hard to understand. As long as you get a train and the train isn't completely spread out and there's still zombies coming, you should be able to kill every single zombie in the train as long as the staff hits it and as long as the zombies aren't over a certain round, which I will get into later. The wind staff also comes with 30 in the chamber, I guess I'll just call it, and 40 in reserves. The reload time here is also 3 seconds. I don't know if I mentioned that on the Thundergun, but the Thundergun is also just 3 seconds. This weapon is also semi-automatic. You can tap the trigger really fast, but it isn't going to be like the lightning staff where you can just hold down the trigger and it'll keep going. And in the early rounds, I think this weapon will surprise you the most out of any staff. It's really good for taking out panzers on the early rounds. Probably up to about round 25, I would stop using this to kill panzers. I don't actually know the exact rounds the panzers spawn in, but up until about round 25, this weapon is crazily good at taking out panzers. I'd argue even better than the lightning staff. Upgraded, this thing becomes the Boreas Fury, and I couldn't really find any damage for the single shot, but I'm just going to assume it's around 4k because it stops becoming one hit at around round 26 to 28, and right around there the health jumps from like 2,000 somewhere to 6,000, and I just figured I'd cut that down the middle and came out with 4k. It could do 4.5, it could do 3.5, I'm not actually sure, and I don't really know how to look into the files for that, but if I was able to, I would. So this thing does about 4k, and it really doesn't kill zombies with a single shot after round 26-27. However, it does do infinite damage with the charge shot. You only need to charge 3 rounds to get the infinite damage going. I don't know if the time changes between whether you use 3 to 6 shots. I'm assuming it does. It is advised to use just the 3-shot charge, but I use all 6 just simply because I build every staff whenever I play Origins. That's just my preference. I really don't feel accomplished unless I do that. I know that sounds kind of weird, and I kind of recommend it if you do play Origins a lot. It gets a lot easier every time, but again, it still can be frustrating, but I just use all 6 shots because again, I have every staff at the ready. The ammo is increased from 3 shots in the chamber to 6 and 60. Now this staff is able to get quite a lot of kills. I don't know if it can kill whole hordes of 24 zombies, but I do know that it is going to kill at least some. So this weapon can get anywhere between 1,000 to 1,500 kills, and I only say that because some more zombies can spawn in, and also you could have less zombies in a single train. It's too many variables to account for, and that's why there's such a large margin. The reload time isn't decreased at all, but it is still semi-automatic. Again, the chargeability does infinite damage with at least 3 charge, and you can check this by checking the dots on the staff connector between the top of the staff that actually shoots out the wind in the staff handle. This is an easy way to check how much ammo you're using every shot with every single staff. And in my opinion, the wind staff is by far the easiest staff to make. You can get it on any round in Black Ops 3, and in Black Ops 2, it's still one of the easier staffs to get. Go into the Giant's Foot, and if you're new, it could be kind of difficult. I could understand how people who are new to Origins find this pretty difficult to get, but still, it's easier than getting all the lightning staff pieces in one go around, which I think is the second easiest staff to get. And now just going over these weapons quickly, my personal opinion. Again, the Thundergun doesn't really have that good of an ammo resource when it comes to Black Ops 1. You're not going to be able to get drops, you're not going to be able to put this thing back in the box because it is pretty hard to get on the original Kino and every version of the remaster not. So you're kind of SOL when it comes to the Thundergun ammo. If you run out of ammo, you kind of just have to wait till a max ammo appears. And at some point, this thing is really the only effective weapon that you can carry that will kill zombies in really high rounds in Black Ops 1. Sure, there are traps and things just laying around the map that can get kills, like an Ascension, the big dildo that spins around in the spawn room, that can get kills, but we're talking about weapons here. It really I can't stress this enough. Black Ops 1 has this whole problem where ammo isn't really that viable unless you buy a wall weapon, and the wall weapons aren't that good, like, at all. So getting ammo for these wonder weapons in Black Ops 1 is really hard. But if you're not really trying to go for any round past 50, you are going to be pretty safe just using this weapon with, say, the ray gun. And I can't really explain this any other way than saying that the Black Ops 3 one is just weird. It's like really weird. The problem so much for me isn't that the shots are delayed, so I'm not going to be able to kill zombies that quick. The problem is the shots are delayed. If you're running, if you're just holding it, it is going to be able to shoot quicker, but this thing needs to be ready to use, which actually kind of makes sense. If they switch these versions around, I wouldn't have much of a problem. If you couldn't get drops with it in Black Ops 3, I would be completely fine with that. But the fact that it does makes it far better than its Black Ops 1 counterpart. And the Thundergun, I do have to say, does have pretty good mobility. Getting this on Revelations isn't too hard, but if you're going for this on either the original Kino or Knocked Remastered, then again, good luck. It's seriously a pain, especially trying to pap this thing out of the remastered Knocked. You have to first get crate power and then get the Thundergun. And with crate power, any weapon that you pick up is pack-punched, and that really kind of does suck because you kind of want to go through the box quickly. You want to get as many weapons as quickly as you can. And a good thing about Knocked is that the box doesn't move at all, so you can just sit there in one spot hitting the box over and over again. It's a tedious price to pay for what could eventually be a round 100 run, but again, it's really hard just to even get this thing out of the box, even without crate power. Now back to the Wind Staff. The Wind Staff along with the Ice Staff are two of the most powerful weapons doing infinite damage with their charged shots. If I was putting this up against the Ice Staff though, I'd have to go with the Ice Staff simply because of the ammo. Something I forgot to mention in the previous video is that all of the staffs come with a pretty powerful knife ability. Up to about round 18 it is going to be a one-shot, and a revive tool at the end of the staff called Sekhmet's Vigor. Fun fact, Sekhmet was an Egyptian goddess originally known as the warrior goddess along with the goddess of healing. Vigor just means good health, which makes complete sense because this thing revives players. Now if only I could find friends to revive. It does do damage and can get kills in the higher rounds, but since there's only 3 shots, it still isn't really worth relying on this thing. I have a feeling that the Thundergun, just like the Wunderwaffe, was based on the Wind Staff. I'd like to mention that when I do these comparisons, I know that technically the Thundergun and Wunderwaffe came years before the staffs were probably even thought of, but just going off the in-game timeline, it seems as though the staffs were sort of a retcon to give influence towards those earlier wonder weapons. Another thing to mention is that if you've ever done the Origins Easter egg, you'll know that there's a step towards the end where you can get upgraded fists. Now the fists are already pretty powerful, again doing a one-shot hit up until round 18. But you can upgrade these by getting an elemental fist. These don't do infinite damage, but they are much more powerful than the regular fists. And with the Wind Staff in particular, it's going to act more like a Thundergun, similar to what the staff already does. I don't really recommend this one, especially if you're going for more of an aesthetic. I think that the Fire and Ice Staff had the best Thunder Fist ability upgrades, but again, that's just my opinion. I think they all do similar damage, but there are slight differences. And now we have to choose a winner. I feel like this one is closer than the last one I did, because both are pretty good weapons. They both have the ability to do infinite damage. However, the Thundergun has that right off the bat, and I think for that, the Thundergun deserves the win. You don't need to upgrade it, you don't need to do quests after quest to be able to get the infinite damage, you just get it out of the box. And on Ascension and Revelations, it's really easy to get. And for the simple fact that you can get drops with it in Black Ops 3 is a really big plus for it. I know you can get drops with the staffs, but being able to get drops from a Thundergun, as being someone who only ever played with a Thundergun in Black Ops 1, you'll know that it is a major plus for this weapon. For people who are decent but aren't really top tier players, you'll know that getting every shot to be completely useful, meaning taking out a whole horde of 24, is kind of few and far between. You're going to get trapped, you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to need to use at least a few of those shots to be able to get out of those sticky situations. Whether you kill 1 to 23 zombies, you're always going to have a less effect than you possibly could have. And being able to get drops makes this not even a problem anymore. And to end this video off, I think the Thundergun is the ideal wonder weapon. It doesn't have so much ammo that it is overpowered. If this thing carried up to like 30 extra ammo, it would probably be one of the best wonder weapons. But I think the limited ammo and the limited range do have an effect on how this weapon is placed on a list from best to worst. It's still up there. It is, again, one of the ideal wonder weapons, and if you can get this on the map that you're playing on, definitely do that. It's really good at taking out the Panzers and the Margwas. It's also just as easy, except for, you know, the time between the Margwa opening up one of its other mouths. However, the lightning staff is no slouch and it does deserve some respect. I had no idea that it did infinite damage with the charge ability, and now that I know that, I have a much better appreciation for it. Anyways guys, that is going to be it for the video. If you feel like I made a mistake or you disagree with my opinion, that's perfectly fine. Let me know down in the comments below if you think the wind staff is better than the Thundergun. And if you haven't seen yesterday's video, definitely go check that out in the card in the corner. Anyways guys, social media links all down in the description. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. That's going to be it for the video. Peace.